Thank you so much, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Hey guys, how you guys doing? Good, good. Can I get that one more time? We got to shake it off a little bit. How you guys doing?
Good.
Good. Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being patient in our technical difficulties. I try to not use electronics when it comes to events because then nothing can go wrong. Everybody asks me, I'm always trying to be convinced, you need to have the slideshows, you need to have this. I'm like, no. That's too much things that can go wrong. I just want an old school manual. So today, my strategies has confirmed that I just like things simple. Because when things can go wrong, sometimes it can kind of be challenging. So thank you so much for being flexible. So I just want to thank you guys for coming, and I want to just share some ideas with you today. As I stand up here, I want you guys to all know that I don't think I have real estate all figured out. Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah. I don't think I have real estate all figured out. Okay, I'm learning just like you guys each and every day, but I promise you today I'm going to share some really powerful ideas with you guys today. I'm going to share some ideas that is going to challenge you. It's going to challenge your mindset. It's going to challenge how you've been doing business from this point on. Some of the ideas you agree with, which I won't ask you to agree with everything, but some of the ideas you won't agree with. Sometimes we might even have some arguments and discussions in your head about why it doesn't work in your market, and that's okay. So what I'm going to ask you to do is let's just stay open-minded today. Let's look at all the ideas that we present from now until 3 o'clock, and I want you to think of it as a buffet. Does that make sense? So as you're walking down a buffet line, if you see an idea you like, just take some of it. If you don't, just push it aside and leave it for someone else. Does that sound fair? Yeah. If that sounds fair, say that sounds fair. Awesome, awesome. So let's jump in. One of my very favorite ideas that I've had as I've trained through the years is you have to be willing to abandon your presentation in one moment in order to connect with the person in front of you. Most of the coaching in our industry says that, you got to have a script and you have to continually follow that script verbatim. The problem with that is we're missing it. We're talking over our clients or we're talking under them. Does that make sense? Yeah. So today I want to challenge you guys as we're looking at these ideas is it's about connection. Write this down. It's about connection and not perfection. It's about connection and not perfection. How many times have you guys had a salesperson or a professional, I already hear it in my head, I'm not a salesperson. Well, we'll work through that from now until 3. That was a joke, but nobody got it. So, has there ever been a time where a sales professional or a consultant has delivered an impeccable presentation, but you did not buy? Show of hands, how many times has that happened? Right? That's like 75% of the room. A lot of times I think the reason why that happens is they sound too perfect. Does that make sense? And you're not sure if they're selling snake oil. So today let's challenge that idea and let's figure out how to not be perfect and let's find ways to connect. Today, I promise you, at the end of the day today, I'm going to give you some amazing ideas on how you can connect at an amazing level. Okay? So let me start out with that. I have enough information here that I could actually stretch this out to a 10-hour training, and I'm not exaggerating. But I promise you that on the calendar, I will get you out today by 9, so I'll make sure that, or 3. So let's lead by example, and I'm going to lead by example, and I'm going to ask you guys what you guys are hoping to get out of today. Okay? So let me erase this real quick, and we'll jump right in. This is very interactive. The more you guys participate in here, the more you're going to participate out there. Does that make sense? Yeah. So let's just one at a time. What were you hoping to get out of today? When you decided to spend the day with me, what one idea were you hoping to get out of today? One at a time, please. One at a time. Nikki.
Time savers.
Time savers. Tell me more about that.
Whether it be a pre-listing package or something to cut down. I'm still connecting with people.
Okay, I hear you.
Cut down on the amount of time spent because I find that.
Time savers. Okay. So when you think of time savers, what specific idea are you hoping to get? Processes. That's what I heard. Okay. You guys notice that I keep asking Nikki that question because it's never the idea. It's never the thing. It's always the thing under the thing under the thing. Let me say it again. I asked her, she said time saver, right? And then as I digging, we got processes. Does that make sense? Clients are the same way. Clients don't know write this down. Clients know what they want, but they don't know what they need. Clients know what they want, but they don't know what they need. So processes. Thank you, Nikki. Okay, what else? What are you guys hoping to get out of today?
New ideas to make me a more effective agent.
New ideas to make me more effective. Tell me more about that.
I think everybody does things in a different way, and the more ways and ideas you see different people do things, the more some of it's going to connect to you. And
Okay. So some new ideas.
New ideas.
Okay. I want you to think about that for a minute, Cody, as I go around, and I want to circle back to you, and I want you to think about what specific new idea are you hoping to get, okay? There's a piece I'm going to talk about a little bit later on is living life in a state of expectancy. So we got to know what to expect in order to know when it shows up. Does that make sense? Anyone else? Please.
Tips to help overcome objections.
Tips to help. Oh, I like it. So we're going to you want to call it objection handlers? Does that work? Sure. Okay, perfect. Objection. I told somebody else to write this because my handwriting, because when I can't spell anything, I just kind of scribble, so nobody knows. Objection handler. Well, I'm being honest. Yeah. Oh, so you do it too? Yes. Awesome. It makes me. Thanks you for not making me feel like I was the only one. Please.
So when I was going around in the room, two that I thought kind of go hand in hand is confidence and momentum.
Confidence and momentum. I like that. Confidence. We're going to call it confidence and momentum. You know, I have taught this class all over the nation, and those two ones have never... actually, momentum is the only one that hasn't showed up. Confidence has showed up, kind of disguised in a few other ways. But that's the first one, the momentum. I'm excited. Anyone else? Please, Greg.
What about more situationally? Like, where are the best places to fish and sell?
What are the best places to fish and sell? Okay. Tell me more about that.
Well, obviously, if we're going to be kind of going back to the time and processes,
Okay.
how do we best spend our time to be in front of the people that are most likely to say yes?
Okay, I heard two things there. This is what I heard the first time. When you said it the first time, I heard be really purposeful.
Yeah.
Whoever you're in front of, right? I heard really be purposeful. And the second one, I heard... What was the second one?
Where to be purposeful?
Where to be purposeful. Okay. So let's say...
How to be purposeful.
What was the second? I didn't hear it.
Recognizing your market.
Okay. So we're going to put purposeful. Thank you, Greg. Purposeful. And I'm going to put when and where. How about that? Does that work? When and where?
That's perfect, Joe.
Okay. What else? Claudia.
Out-of-the-box thinking and
I don't know anything about that.
connecting with people.
Out of the box thinking and connecting. Tell me more about that.
Different ways of, not the mainstream of how you connect with people. Something, real different possibilities of being able to connect with people.
Okay, different. So just connecting, yeah. Just ways to connect. I love it. Ways. Thank you, Claudia.
Joey, I was going to say effective communication.
Okay. You read the manual. Effective communication. Okay. Anyone else? Please.
Effective prospecting.
Effective prospecting. Okay. Effective communication, and then we'll just put prospecting. Okay. Who else? Please.
Maybe some tips on controlling the emotional state of your buyer or seller.
Oh, look at that. You did read through the manual. Did you read through the manual? Sweet, because that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So that's kind of interesting. So we're going to can we just call it controlling emotions? Does that work? I shouldn't be mad that you guys looked at the manual. I gave you the manual. I'm sorry, that was just some stuff going on in my head. Controlling emotions. Anyone else? Pasto.
I want to know how to work with a group of agents so that I can get my broker's license so I can visualize it.
How to find the right group of agents to be in business with?
Yeah.
Okay, I like it.
From a broker's perspective.
Okay. Group of people to be
Working with teams.
in business with. And working with teams, okay. We need to talk. Business, a group of people to be in business with. Teams. Can we put our phones on silent, please, please, please? Okay? Anything else? That's okay. Yeah, usually that works when the first phone comes off. We're like, okay, let's check mine out. Okay, anyone else? It's going to be a short day. Anyone else? Any other ideas? Cody, new ideas. What specifically do you want to get?
You know, I think these two ladies said it perfectly what I was most interested in. Different ways to communicate, because I really know asking questions is the main way. So
Okay.
looking for other ways
Got it.
to communicate that would be effective. And what she said, which was effective prospecting, because obviously as a newer agent, I'd like to hear more ways.
Okay,
to,
perfect. Perfect. Awesome. Awesome. So I'll leave new ideas out there because I think it's good. Anyone else? Please.
Learning how to listen and not overtalk.
That's hard. I'm Italian and Portuguese. That's really hard for me. I think it's a problem in our gene. We've been trying to get that altered for years.
Become all hyped up.
Yeah, exactly. So see, so much, I forgot what you just said. What was that one more time?
Learning how to listen as well.
Okay. Active listening, does that work? Yeah, like I said, it's. I think I've become a master at that because, you know, we're in the Portuguese and Italian family system. You have to learn how to argue, because if you don't, you won't survive. I'm just being honest with you. So active listen. What's that? Oh, yeah. She broke a few of those on me. Okay. Please.
Piggyback on that, I think ways to align with clients so they see us as a resource. Like, how do I bring value and how can I be a resource?
Okay, bring value and resource. So we're going to put ways to connect, value, resource. Does that work? Okay, perfect. I love it. Okay, we got time for two more. One second, Jason. You had a question? Okay, I thought I saw you raise your hand. Okay, Jason.
Preparing sellers for the market shift.
Ooh, I like that. That's the part of the thing nobody in the room wants to talk about, huh? Let's be honest. Who does not want to talk about the market shifting? Who does not want to talk about the market shifting? Thank you, Greg, for your honesty. I think a few people, they're still in denial, and it's more than just a river in Egypt. Okay, market shift. Market shift. Market shift. Slash. You said market shift, conveying that to sellers, right?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, perfect. Okay, going once, going twice. Anyone else? Okay, so let's jump right in. Page 1. In becoming a highly effective communicator, we must be willing and able to abandon our entire plan and presentation in order to conform to the needs and wants of our client or prospect. When you're studying the art of public speaking, they tell you to have different types of pillars. I'm going to share a lot of ideas with you guys that are outside of real estate, so we can bring it home in real estate. Does that make sense? They teach us that you have to have an opening, a very general opening that you use, and you have to have a general closing, and you have pillars of ideas. Like one pillar might be, it's achievable. Another pillar might be it's going to be tough. Another pillar might be it's worth it, right? So those are our pillars. And then when you're in front of your audience, you fill in the pieces in those pillars in order to connect with your group. Does that make sense? So you have a way to convey that. So same thing in real estate. It's like when we're in front of a client, we need to know what we're wanting to accomplish, but then outside of that, it's about connecting and figuring out how can I conform to what you want. Does that make sense? You have an idea of what your experience of good service is. Everybody has their own different idea. Does that make sense? Everyone has an idea of what kind of experience they're hoping to get. You just have to figure out what that is. Does that make sense? And then when you figure out what that is, then you plug it into your presentations. Are you with me on that?
Yeah.
Okay? My goal for the time together is to teach you to approach it communicating with sellers extremely effective, okay? And through scripts that I've learned, in addition to impart the components I believe that make up an effective presentation, okay? And let's see, effective presentation. Give me 1 second here. Components, I believe, make them an effective sales presentation from blank number 1, setting expectations for the home selling process, to handling inner conflict, which is blank number 2. The SCs in the room are saying the blanks are too small. I'm sorry. The third piece is emotional reluctance. So the first blank is setting expectations. I had to give you guys some work to do because then you would just listen to me to talk the whole time and wouldn't be engaged. First blank, setting expectations. Second blank, handling inner conflict. Third blank, emotional reluctance. Fourth blank, fear to act. I'm going to read that sentence again, okay? I will impart the components I believe that make up effective sales presentations from setting expectations for the home selling process to handling inner conflict, emotional reluctance, and fear to act. Now, when we say setting expectations, what am I talking about? What am I talking about when it comes to setting expectations?
Your expectation to either get them to say yes or expect a no or reluctance.
Okay.
Whoever you're dealing with.
Okay.
So they know what to, so they're not off guard.
Thank you.
Set off guard as far as what the process is, what's going to
Absolutely. Absolutely. So they know what to expect. What else, Nikki?
Educating them.
Educating them. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anything else? Setting expectations. Why do you think it's important to set expectations?
So you're leading them and they're not leading you?
Perfect. Awesome.
They may
Please.
have a certain set of
Thank you.
expectations that you need to supplant
Yes.
own.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
Set the expectations
Yeah.
for that seller. Otherwise, they think you're going to be doing all sorts of things and put it in writing.
Well, I love what you said. I'm just going to add one piece. They always have an expectation. We talked about that earlier. Everybody has a different expectation. But we try to treat everyone the same by having the same written presentations, and we're missing it. Does that make sense? So we want to find out what they expect, which we'll talk about this. Actually, I'll just do it right now. Let me give you a powerful script for that so we're on that. 1 year from now, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what would have to happen for you to feel you made the right decision in hiring me as your real estate professional? Let me say that again. 1 year from now, you've sold your home or you've sold your property. What would have to happen for you to feel you made the right decision to use me? What I'm really trying to do is I'm forcing them to do what?
Tell you their expectations.
To tell me their expectations. What is their experience? And then I look at it, I take it within what I want to accomplish, and then I tailor my presentation to connect with that individual. Because what you expect is going to be different than what Lupe expects. Does that make sense? But the industry is teaching us we should treat you guys the same, and we should have the same canned presentation, and you're talking over and under. You guys with me? Second blank. You guys like that so far? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Second blank, inner conflict. What does that mean, inner conflict? When you hear inner conflict, what does that mean?
Your own doubts.
Your own doubts? Absolutely. Doubts? What else? Inner conflict.
Indecision.
Indecision, which is huge. What else?
Inability to act.
Inability to act. I love it. What else? Inner conflict.
Getting information from outside sources that don't really know what's going on with your situation.
That causes inner conflict.
Correct.
Absolutely. I love it. I call that Uncle Jed. We'll talk about Uncle Jed later. Everybody has an Uncle Jed. Okay, other people, exactly. Inner conflict. What else are you guys hearing? Has there ever been a time where you have either went into a store or called a professional on the phone and said, I want to buy your service? Go through this whole thing, and then at the end of that conversation, you decide not to buy, and then you're getting calls, like 8, 9 phone calls after, and you're like, why do they keep bugging me? Am I the only one in the room?
Yeah.
How many people have experienced that? How many people have experienced that?
The rest of them don't have phones.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the reason is there was still inner conflict on the phone. And that salesperson was probably trying to connect with you the way he tries to connect with everyone, and he didn't get you or work you through your inner conflict, right? He didn't give you bridges of possibility. He didn't give you bridges of peace to take you to say, I'm ready to buy, right? Make sense? So it's important for us to understand the importance of inner conflict, the most reasons why people go through inner conflict, and teach people how to get out of inner conflict. Does that make sense? And I'll give you some systems on how to do that. Next is emotional reluctance. What does that mean? See, that's what I thought. Got you right on the point. That was your point. Emotional reluctance. What do you mean by that? What do you guys think about that? Emotional reluctance. What does that mean to you? Fear to making it. You just nailed it right there. Fear to making the wrong decision. What else? What else?
They still don't know why they're really
They still don't know why they're really doing it. I love that. I love that. What else? Emotional reluctance.
Confirming that they're really willing to sell.
Confirming that they're really willing to sell.
They have a disagreement between husband and wife as to, well, I want to move, I don't.
Yeah,
Type of thing. Confirming
absolutely.
that-
Yeah, emotional reluctance is huge. You know, I had, early in my career, I'd done a lot of divorce sales, and just really understand how to do it, and it was interesting just watching the dynamics and what I learned along the process. And with the emotional reluctance, that's one of those situations that there's so much emotional reluctance, there's so much hostility. I actually going through one right now. One of my team members had given me a referral. I was on the phone with a wife, and I said, at the end of it, I connected with her, and I said, hey, you know what sets your husband off? And she goes, yeah, and she was really taken back. I says, do me a favor, and let's not set him off. And then it got really quiet. I says, because at the end of the day, if you set him off, it's just going to cost you more money. Attorneys love when you set them off. It's going to cost you a lot of money, right? So at the end of the day, we need to look at selling your home as a business decision. You guys are separating assets. Let's make sure we keep the money. My dollar per hour is a lot cheaper than attorneys, right? And you know what? When I meet the husband, I tell the husband the same thing, right? And then when I meet the both of them, I look at it across from the table and I say, I told the both of you guys. You know what to set each other's off. Because I know there's so much emotional reluctance, so much, waves in the water. Does that make sense? At that point where like anything can set them off. Emotional reluctance can cost people a lot of money. So, no, I'm not passionate about that part, not at all. Please.
If they're not sold on you as the agent, would that fall under emotional reluctance too?
That would be inner conflict. He had a question. He says, if they don't know if you're the right agent, would that fall under emotional reluctance? I think it would be inner conflict. Is he the right person or is she the right person? That's where I think it would fall under. That's a really good question. What a great group. You guys are bringing up things that I haven't heard before, so thank you so much. Next piece is fear to act. What do I mean by fear to act? What do I mean by fear to act?
Some people just can't pull the trigger.
They can't pull the trigger. Now, why can't they pull the trigger? Why does that fall under fear to act?
Lack of confidence.
Lack of confidence. Why is it lack of confidence?
Lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge. You guys with me? Here's the thing. In sales trainings, I think in the majority, we don't talk about people's fears. We talk about their objections. We talk about having the right thing to say at the right time, right? But do we talk about their fears? Right? We don't talk about their fears for the most part. Show of hands, how many people consciously talk about people's fears? It's not something that's taught that much. You guys with me? The thing is, and here's the hardest part on fear to act. Those things remain hidden. Does that make sense? The fears that our clients go over remain hidden. It remains in the dark. Our job is just to get it out and put it in the light. Does that make sense? Because if we can start to do that, we got them. You guys with me? We got them. There's nothing that our internet friends or the attack that we have on our industry right now. How many of you know that we have an attack on our industry right now? Like 4 of you. Let me ask that again. You guys need more coffee. How many of you know that we have an attack on our industry? Can our internet friends, can they do that with their fancy websites? Can they do that with their $1 billion of marketing dollars behind them? Can they do that?
Yes.
Can they do that? Well, as far as helping people with their fear to act, can they do that? That was the question. Let me ask that again. All the attack on our industry, can they combat the fear to act? Can they combat that?
No.
Right? So in order for us to be able to move through and thrive through the attack that this industry is in, we got to be willing to do all the things that the competition can't do. You guys with me on that? Questions on that as we move forward? Questions? Please.
If they're not committed to the process, yeah, that would cause fear to act. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think the reason why they're not committed to the process, they don't have enough information. So we have to have a systematic approach to draw more out. And it's a hard thing with me is I have so much to say. Sometimes I'm out of order. My solution to that always is just for us to remember it's never about us. Write that down. It's never about us. It's always about them. It's never about us. It's always about them. And if we can get a systematic approach of writing people down the road of self-discovery, and we draw the information out about why they're selling, what they're, and understanding our audience, then the reluctance just goes away. And you can watch it. When you're sitting in front of a client and you're talking to them, and all of a sudden they tilt their head and say, I never really thought about that, they're yours. Does that make sense? You've built enough confidence with them that the fear to act goes away. The inner conflict goes away, right? Because sellers, they're always concerned about what? Giving their home away, right?